It's not about politics, it's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. You're just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
Not just get it and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to It's Just Football. Trevor Sikkema Mike Renner here with you on a Mock Draft Wednesday, baby. It is draft day in the building. I'm so excited for this episode. We've kind of done these mini mock drafts before where it's like, all right, we're doing a little top 5, stretching into some top 10. We're going top 20. We're doing more than half of the first round. Mike, soon it's going to be full first round stuff. But I'm excited for today, man. I know this is your bread and butter. You've been up late watching the tape for weeks now. Haven't even slept preparing for this very episode. But how you feeling?
I'm already going back and watching previous year's tape, like guys from before, to see comps for guys who are in this year's draft, to see who they really remind me of, to kind of get a handle on where they fall in the annals of prospects in NFL history.
I just heard the somewhat resemblance of the fart noise that everybody said.
Oh no, is it my mic again?
I think it is your mic again. I'm just letting you know at the top of the show, just because I don't want people calling you out. I don't want people calling you out again, because you said it wasn't a fart last time. I believed you, because I'm sitting right next to you.
I kind of heard it too this time, though.
But it was a little bit there. So I'm just warning you guys, because the chat, we know everybody watching the show. There's gonna be a lot of people watching the mock draft show. Don't want to jump to any conclusions. What's up to everybody who's watching the show, wherever you are watching from? Appreciate you tuning in. It's gonna be a very fun episode as we are going through the top 20 as it stands today, the draft order. We're gonna go through a lot of the teams that are sitting in the top 20, and as we go through this mock draft, it's gonna be a good exercise for us to talk about these teams, where they are in the season, whether we think they're going to end up in the top 20, top 10, top 5, wherever they're currently sitting. We'll talk about some team needs that they have, so give you our overall thoughts of a lot of these teams outside of even just the players that we think would really fit them well. Shout out to Brock, our chat champ from yesterday, who hopefully is in the chat. I haven't seen him yet, but he needs to get in here because he needs to represent the chat. Tell us if he likes the mock draft picks or not. That's basically what the whole show is going to be about, but we're also going to have some fun at the end of the show. We're going to be bringing back the What's on Screen segment that you guys love, where Mike and I stand in front of the green screen. One of us tries to shout out hints as to what is behind them. Can't be using common or not common nouns, proper nouns or anything specific. Although I will say, when we've played this game in the past, people have called us out. Like when Kyler Murray was up there and I said Call of Duty, somebody was like, Call of Duty is a proper noun. So we need to be on that a little bit more. We'll be a little bit more strict with what we're doing here. But, yeah.
Is that technically a proper noun?
I think it is.
It's 3 words.
Yeah, but it's a title, right?
It turns into a title when you say it like that, but none of those words are in and of itself proper nouns. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works.
Maybe you just take
I'm not a grammar major. I'm a football major.
Maybe you just take a long pause in between all of them, and then they're not.
Yeah.
They're not proper nouns. Then they're just regular words. Trying to get the production portal guys into the show. Quinn, are you still decked out in Bengals gear? I haven't even seen it. Okay, no. We're no Bengals gear today
whatsoever.
Now you went too far in the opposite direction. You were wearing 3 things of Bengals gear yesterday. Now it's none. We need to find the happy medium. We need like one every day.
This is like a University of Cincinnati bar.
So you're still
Cincy
repping local.
Theme, sort of.
So you're still repping local. Okay, I can deal with that. We're good there. You're repping Cincinnati. Do you have a question of the day to kick us off here on the show?
We do, yeah. So big weekend for the AFC East. Jets play the Patriots. Bills are playing the Browns in Antarctica, apparently.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be awful, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, I don't know if this is true, but when I was looking up stuff for this question of the day, I saw a couple articles that said there's a chance the game could get canceled. It's going to be that bad.
Wow.
I mean.
When's the last time a game got canceled? No, I don't think a game's got canceled, but when's the last time a game got moved for weather reasons?
Didn't Buffalo have 8 feet of snow 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, but didn't they play?
Because I remember people were opening their garage doors. You'd see videos, and then they're you just couldn't get out.
I do remember this, but didn't they play in that game? I remember the LaShawn McCoy just going crazy in the snow, or was that?
I don't remember who that was against. I think that was in Philly, though, wasn't that?
Oh, yeah,
that might have been
Chicago. When he was with the Eagles.
I know they moved when the Metrodome collapsed. That's the last one I can think of that actually had the whole
hurricane games. There have been a couple of, I think, Buccaneers games or Miami Dolphins games that they've had to move because of hurricanes. But snow, just straight up, it's snowing too much. I don't know when the last time that we've had that one. Okay, anyway, sorry, that probably wasn't the question of the day.
Yeah, that was not the question of the day. That was just an honest question.
Okay, all right.
The question of the day is, how many division titles would the Bills need to win in a row in order to surpass the New England Patriots' consecutive division title streak?
Oh, no. So they probably had, I think they win. So the last one they didn't win 08.
Right. It was 08 or 09. It was whatever the year that they ended up getting in for the wild card.
That was, well, they didn't even make the playoffs that year.
Did they not?
No, they didn't even make the playoffs. No way. They won 11 wins, didn't make the playoffs, right? It was like the last 11-win team not to make the playoffs. And then
I thought they got in.
So from 09 probably to 19, so probably 11. So then the Bills would need
what?
8 more.
Yeah, I was gonna guess 10. There's some high guesses already in the chat. Yeah. Daniel says 16. Nathan says 16. Chris says 18. Matthew's got 7. DT Dynasty's got 11. Shout out the Sacramento Kings. You wanted me to shout out the Sacramento Kings. Hopeful Lions fan says 9. Jared says 32. Don't think it's 32, but I mean, Brady and Belichick, never count them out. Ren says 9. Yeah, I think I'm going like 9 or 10.
I'm going 8.
You're going 8?
8.
I think I'm gonna go 10 then. I think I'm gonna go 10. We don't have to.
No, I guess it would be 9 because they didn't win. They haven't won this year, so it would be 9. I'm an idiot. They've won.
We don't have to. We don't have to give our final answers until the end of the show. Actually, Christopher's changed his answer to 1 million. No, wait, he changed it to 1 billion. No, now he's saying 1 trillion. Wow. Okay, it's a lot.
All right, I'm sticking with 9. Final answer.
No, you don't need to do the final answer.
Okay.
Sort of the final answer. The final answer before the final answer is kind of where we are now. I'm probably going to be around that same thing. I was either going to guess 9 or 10, but I think it's a good question. Definitely a good question. How do you feel about extremely cold weather sporting events?
I hate it. Growing up, I used to play fall baseball, and baseball when it was like 30 degrees was as miserable as it gets.
Could you just stand?
You hit even you have to hit
stinks.
dead center of the barrel to be able to feel your hands after you hit it. And then obviously soccer, we played in pretty bitter cold out into the fall. That was rough. But I'm not a fan. I don't think it ruins it. It ruins a aspect of the sport, which is like the precision nature to why the NFL is so great, which is like guys playing at the highest level. It kind of takes that away from it.
Sure.
It makes it more of this luck of the draw.
So I grew up in Florida, so I never like had like a snow game, anything. But there were a couple of games where it did get decently cold in Florida. We're talking like if we were playing a game in the 30s or something like that. I used to play soccer. Soccer was fine for me because you're running around the whole time. And there's contact in soccer, but it's not a ton. Playing football in the snow, I'm not gonna lie, sounds miserable. Just like full contact every time. It's like you have to have a mentality that you're just like, all right, my entire body is numb going into this game. Yes. I don't care about anything that's about to happen for the next 3 hours. It feels miserable. It sounds miserable. And the crazy trench players who don't wear sleeves during snow games, they need to be tested. Their bodies need to be tested. Their minds need to be tested.
There's something to that, though. It is mind over matter. Like, you're going to be cold.
I know. I could never get there.
A lot of it is mental to that degree. I'm more saying when the elements start to come in, when you get a little snow on the ground, you really can't play the same way that you do when it is just, ideal weather.
I knew people would get on me for calling anything in Florida cold. James saying playing soccer in Florida, yeah, quote unquote cold. Sure, Trevor. Listen, this is my upbringing. This is where I was from. Warm weather's better than cold weather. I don't know what to tell you, people.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
There's no shame in it. There's actually
reason why when people get older, they move further down in the country. No, go up. Not trying to play in these snow games anymore. All right, anyways, let's get to the mock draft. This is obviously what we have been promoting the entire week, what we've been promoting the entire day here on the show. To start things off, Mike, I figure we should just read off the draft order. And you can see this over at tankathon.com. They update the draft order every single week. They'll show you team's record. They'll show you strength of schedule. They'll show you all that kinds of stuff. So this is our point of reference. You got the Houston Texans picking at number 1 overall, Las Vegas Raiders at number 2, Carolina Panthers at 3, Eagles at 4. Shout out to the New Orleans Saints for that. Jacksonville Jaguars at 5. You got the Bears sitting at 6. Seattle's at 7. Detroit's at 8. Houston's at 9. Those 3 picks were traded as well. We got 4 picks in the top 10, Mike.
Insanity.
That are not original picks. It's wild. Steelers at 10. Lions at 11 once again. Falcons at 12. Cardinals 13. Packers 14. Colts sitting there at 15. Making the big trade, or making the big switch at head coach, and it's not getting them any higher in the draft order. Commanders at 16, Chargers 17, Bengals 18, Buccaneers 19, and the Denver Broncos, another traded pick, sitting there at number 20. Any one of those teams just like really stand out to you, actually, now that I'm looking at the order?
Well, the one I keep going back to is the Colts because they need a quarterback, right? Like they've been living in this quarterback purgatory for a while. And I think they're in luck. It could be a very strong quarterback class. There could be a number of guys there that are options for them, even if they aren't drafting, top 5. But realistically, they need to start losing some games. In the best long-term interest of their franchise, it would behoove them to not win any more games this season because the rest of the team is close. I'll say, like they're not too many pieces away, and they have the cap space and the flexibility to get there. It just comes back to what it's come back to since Andrew Luck retired. The quarterback position not being good enough.
Right.
Take a swing at that position, see what happens, is my take.
The top thing for me is when you look at the draft order today as opposed to what it was last week, you got 2 teams in the Steelers sitting at number 10, Detroit Lions sitting at number 11. Those teams were picking, I think, both in the top 5 last week, and they get a win. Every win is pivotal towards the draft order because there are 9 teams right now that have 3 wins. Some of them have 6 losses, some of them have 7 just because of when their bye weeks were. But there's a lot of teams that are sitting there between picks number 4 and picks number 12 that if you win a game, could be dire for your draft position.
We are still early, right, though? We are still just over halfway through this season.
All of them tank.
Just something to keep in mind.
Every team outside of like 5 teams in the NFL just lose every game.
That is true for some of these.
No, obviously, I'm mostly trolling there. But not entirely. All right, Mike, I will give you the honors.
Oh.
And I will let you pick number 1 overall here in this brand new live 2023 NFL mock draft with the Houston Texans.
Well, then I'm taking Bryce Young.
Okay.
I don't care who you're taking, who you are at number 1 overall, you're taking Bryce Young. And I had an article at pff.com come out today saying some of the best prospect to team fits in the draft. And Bryce Young to the Texans just feels correct to me. It just feels like a culture changer at the quarterback position that they need. And somewhat ironically, and maybe this is unfair to him, but like his game compares a lot to, in my opinion, just watching my tape, to Deshaun Watson. Like the creativity, the ability to kind of manipulate tight pockets, escapability that you can't coach at that position. And now he obviously doesn't have the size that Deshaun Watson does, or the off-field issues that Deshaun Watson does. So Bryce Young, though, that's the guy you get in place, and then you build around him and feel very confident in doing so. He's not the kind of guy who needs a perfect situation, in my opinion, to succeed, like some of the Alabama quarterbacks maybe we've seen in recent years, or some of like the Ohio State quarterbacks we've seen in recent years that maybe have struggled out the gate. I don't think we're going to see that with Bryce Young.
Yeah, I think that's what Bryce boasts the most, is that you look at 2 completely different situations. Sure, he won the Heisman Trophy last year, and he's putting up crazy numbers, and Alabama was going to the national championship, win the SEC title over that Georgia defense. And it was because I think his supporting cast was a lot better. The offensive line was a lot better. The run game was playing better. He had better playmakers in the passing game. All that stuff was there for him. This year, it's a lot more just him. But even though the team isn't necessarily going to play for a national championship this year, Bryce has still been unbelievable. I keep going back to that Tennessee game. Just getting popped in the mouth every single throw, and yet exactly where it needs to go.
Well, I keep going back to the Georgia game from last year, SEC championship game, because that's an NFL defense.
Sure.
Truly was as close a thing as you'll see in college football to an NFL defense. And the way he shredded them, unlike any other quarterback, even came close to. Like, no one had even a above average day against him, and he had an elite grade in that game against Georgia. What he did in that game, that's Sundays. That's what it's going to be like when you get to the NFL. Those are the windows you're going to have to hit. And Bryce Young did that. It reminded me a lot of, to go back to Deshaun Watson against Alabama, way back in the national championship game, what he put on. Basically just a performance that should not have happened with the talent he had around him. That, to me, is Bryce Young.
Everybody in the chat's going to be talking about the height, right?
How big it is.
I mean,
5'10", 11?
I think he's going to be 5'10". I think he's going to be 5'10". That's what I think. How much does that go into it? I mean, like, it has to go into it a little bit.
Yeah. He's going to have to play a different game than your 6'4", Josh Allen type quarterback. You're just going to have to. You're going to have to call some different stuff. You can't have him be doing, zero-step gun quick game all day long, or else he's going to get 1,000 passes batted down. So you're just going to have to alter your playbook to a degree to fit him. But compared to the other 6 foot and under quarterbacks we've seen, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, the guys who have gone highly in the draft, he works the middle of the field so much better than those guys.
Yeah.
It is not even close, in my opinion. He manipulates linebackers still. He can still work that area of the field, that's where you worry about. That's where Russell Wilson, even at the NFL level, struggles because you can't see. You don't have the same planage over your offensive line and over the linebackers that a taller quarterback does.
Yep. All right. Number 2, the Las Vegas Raiders picking at number 2. Look, if the Raiders are selecting number 2 overall in the draft, this is where their final position would be. Derek Carr's not going to be the quarterback of this team next year. And Josh McDaniels might not even be the head coach of this team if they're picking number 2 overall. But I do think that they would take C.J. Stroud in this situation. I think that Stroud's going to be on their radar no matter where they finish. But certainly if you're in the top 3, if you're picking number 2 overall, you're going to have this opportunity to pick C.J. Stroud. And I think they're going to have to take it. When you look at Derek Carr's current contract situation, he's not a free agent until 2026. Okay, so he's got a lot of time left on his current contract. However, the cap number goes up to $34 million this next offseason. And if they cut him, it's only $5 million in dead cap. So it's not like they're really on the hook for that much money if they want to move on from him. If they are picking this high, I think you absolutely have to. That means that the quarterback position is broken, and that means that you got to make a big time change. So when I look at C.J. Stroud, he was somebody who, you mentioned that Ohio State quarterbacks tend to be a little bit more product of their system. But when I watch C.J. Stroud, there is so much that I like about him. I feel like he is confident in the pocket and within structure. I think that he has a good arm. I like the mechanics. There's a lot of synchronized movements all the way from his feet up to his shoulders, and it just looks so smooth. Everything is so there. I feel like the base is wide. The base is great. He stays light on his feet. He can navigate around the pocket. He's not this scrambler kind of dual threat quarterback, but when he is in the pocket, I think that he can navigate it well. I think he has plenty of mobility there, and I think that it's because of his fundamentals. It's because I think that he is learned to become someone who is always on his toes, and that wasn't always the case. That was actually a knock that I had of him going back to early last year. But I think he has improved a lot as a quarterback. I think that he has really improved his technique. He is a technically and fundamentally sound quarterback who I think has a really nice arm, and I think he's going to be a really good pro in the NFL as well. Wouldn't be taking him over Bryce Young, but I do think that this is a good quarterback prospect.
I agree. I don't think he's the toolsiest of prospects, but he is extremely accurate and he's extremely fundamental at the quarterback position, which that's a good base to build on. Yeah, it's not going to look as nice. Obviously, not a lot of situations are as nice as what he's working with at Ohio State, but he's got kind of the ability to overcome it in a number of different ways, even if it's not just with pure arm talent, with pure physical tools.
Man, people just don't like Ohio State QBs. They in the chat, he's got Mike, Ohio State QBs bust. Dominique,
Yeah.
Ohio State QBs thumbs down.
Well, he is not my QB2, I will say.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice little segue, I think, into
To
who you
the
might be
third
taking
overall
at number
pick,
3.
Carolina
Okay.
Panthers.
Yep.
It's Will Levis.
Piss the chat off, baby. Give us the engagement again.
And this was a guy that he's played, so the past month, I believe the Tennessee game in there, the Vandy game in there, the ones that people keep going back to. He's been playing with turf toe, to just give him a little caveat. You'll go back to his tape early in the season. They haven't used him as a runner because of that. He is very athletic. He is going to be a value add in the run game, being able to scramble, make plays outside the pocket, that sort of thing. And I know he has had back-to-back games with sub 50% completion percentage and under 100 passing yards. Oh, wait, no, that was Josh Allen coming out. He has a very similar sort of profile in that he is not, no matter how well he played this season, going to be able to overcome the situation there at Kentucky. One of the worst offensive lines I've seen in college football this
Not
year,
great.
and one of the worst receiving cores, at least in the SEC, that I've seen
Not
this year.
great.
And they're trying to shoehorn in this NFL offense to the collegiate level that is just not built to score points through the air. It is built to kind of score points in the NFL, where the game is much different. And so that may help prepare him for the next level, but he is going to get the same criticisms that Josh Allen got, that Daniel Jones got, that a lot of these guys who didn't put up good numbers at the NFL, at the collegiate level got, but it's because he's in a situation that never going to be conducive to putting up good numbers at the collegiate level. So you just cannot grade him on that same curve of statistically. You have to go look, throw by throw, decision by decision, and say, is this what was in his best sort of interest? Or was this the best play he could have made there? And a lot of times, even though there's sacks on his tape, even though there's throwaways on his tape, those were the best plays that could have been made for Will Levis. So I do keep going back to the physical ability. He has a flamethrower. He is one hell of an athlete, and he makes plays from the pocket under pressure consistently, something that, to me, is the kind of the yes or no at the collegiate level. If you're unable to do that, I just don't think you're going to be able to do it at the NFL level. Will Levis already has that in him.
There we go. All right.
Carolina Panthers.
All right. You stated the case.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
I knew that the fire was going to come. I knew the chat wasn't going to be happy about it. Carolina, look, just because you never want to get in the situation where you say to yourself, oh, we have to pick this player in the first round. Like, we have to pick this position in the first round no matter what, no matter who's on the board. You never want to be in that situation. But, man, like, Carolina's in a tough situation right now if they're not picking quarterback. So I don't know if Carolina's going to believe that Will Levis is worth the number 3 overall pick, but they certainly hope he is.
Yeah.
You know, when they go through the evaluation of him, the deep dive into his tape, when they interview him, when they get him in for a visit, which I'm sure is all going to happen because Carolina's going to do this with every single QB. I bet that they are hoping and praying that he is exactly what they want him to be and a player that they can absolutely invest in. We were talking right before the show. You know, you were talking about you watching Josh Allen tape and how bad it was at Wyoming. This guy goes number 6 overall. Now it was because it was an arm talent that it felt like people just couldn't pass on. But still, 6 overall for a player who had the tape of Josh Allen. Outside of that confidence, though, you said that's
the one thing that really stood out on his tape was he would sit in the pocket. He would try to take downfield throws with guys hanging all over him, guys in his face. He would still kind of had that unconscious ability that he was still going to make plays from the pocket. That, again, goes back to something that I don't think you can coach that Will Levis has also shown.
All right, number 4 overall.
Yeah.
This is the most fun pick in the draft right now. It's the Philadelphia Eagles sitting here at number 4 overall thanks to New Orleans Saints trading them their 2023 pick when the Saints were kind of jumbling all around, getting 2 first-round picks to end up getting Chris Olave and Trevor Penning last year. The price for it is now they don't have a pick in the top 5. Eagles are in an advantageous situation because picking at number 4 here, they not only have an embarrassment of riches of Will Anderson is on the board, Jalen Carter is on the board, whoever else they might want, maybe a playmaker, something, whoever you think you would be worthy at number 4 overall. They have everybody other than a QB, which we know that they're not going to take. They also have the ability to trade down. And if Philly ends up with, let's just say like number 2 or number 3, right? If Philly ends up with one of those picks,
don't think they will.
I don't think they will.
But yeah.
But dude, the trade back, the riches that Howie Roseman could get again in a trade back. You're sitting in a scenario where if Philly's picking at number 2 overall, you look at a team like the Detroit Lions. Right now they got what? 2 picks in the top 11? All of a sudden Philly calls them up and be like, hey, you want to get a quarterback at number 2? Give me 9 and give me 11. Give me both those picks. Now all of a sudden Philly's picking at the back end right around number 10. This football team is just going to continue to get great. Here, we're not going to do trades in this mock draft, though. I'm going to have them at number 4. And between Will Anderson and Jalen Carter, I'm going to go Jalen Carter. I'm actually going to pick Jalen Carter instead of Will Anderson. I know they would absolutely love Will Anderson as well. He would definitely help out the edge rush presence there in Philadelphia. But I like what Josh Sweat's doing. He's kind of coming along. And when you look at their interior defensive line, Javon Hargraves, who's having a really great year, he's going to cost a pretty penny if they want to keep him. He's a free agent this upcoming offseason. Fletcher Cox is as well after signing a 1-year deal. Yeah, they have Jordan Davis. They have Milton Williams. But the temptation to unite, once again, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in the NFL is too great. What Jalen Carter has been able to do this year has been unblockable at this time, at times. Not just from single blocks on the interior, not just from double team blocks, but sometimes triple. Sometimes the center and the guard are looking at him, and so is the running back right behind him because he knows he's going to get through. This dude's an absolute freak of nature. He's one of the best. He's one of the most athletic interior defensive linemen I've ever seen at the college level coming out. So he's going to get, I think, an extremely high grade from me. For fun, I'll have the Eagles taking him here at number 4.
I will say this isn't crazy at all. The Will Anderson versus Jalen Carter debate, to me, it's closer than the Nick Bosa, Quinn Williams debate a few years back in terms of what these guys bring to the table at the NFL level. Because Jalen Carter, Quinn Williams, a very athletic interior defensive tackle. He wasn't necessarily the most powerful, and you really had only seen it for 1 year at Alabama. Jalen Carter, multiple years, strong as hell. This guy is going to be, to me, a day 1 impact player at defensive tackle, which is rare to say. You don't have a lot of those, but that's what his tape looks like this year at Georgia. So to me, it's close. Obviously, with the Eagles and their embarrassment of riches along the defensive line, it's a good sort of problem to have, being able to pick between those two. I think if they do have the opportunity to pick one of those two guys, they're not trading back. They are going to take one of those two guys. I do think with Brandon Graham getting up there in age, I'd probably lean edge just for them. But I don't think we've seen a team really load up on interior playmakers the way the Eagles could if they have Hargrave, if they have Jordan Davis, if they have Jalen Carter, and just see what that could be. see what that problems that presents.
Right.
Because there's no there's no real doubling. There's no chipping a defensive tackle.
Right.
There's no real recourse. You can slide to an Aaron Donald, but what if you have two Aaron Donalds? What if you have two guys at that level? No one's really had that in a while that I can think of in the NFL.
We'll go on to your next pick after I say this. For as good as I think Will Anderson is, and he is a very good edge player, how many interior defensive linemen play like Jalen Carter?
Few.
Very, very few. And I know that Will Anderson is also very good. I think I'd be taking Jalen Carter, especially as it stands today. All right, who you got at number 5? Jacksonville at number 5.
You just got to go Will Anderson here. There's two guys that are that level of prospects, in my opinion, in this class, and they're Jalen Carter and Will Anderson. That it's like, I don't care if I have, Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. I don't care what my edge group looks like. And obviously the Jaguars have a pretty darn deep edge group at this point. And last year's number 1 overall pick, Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen. I'm still adding a Will Anderson to the mix. He's that versatile. If you want to play him a little off ball, you could probably do that as well in that defense. Yeah, he's too good to say, I'm too deep at edge, let me go a different position. Let me go wide receiver to help Trevor Lawrence. No, you take Will Anderson.
Is that a log jam at all? I don't know. It can't be, right?
D-line, though.
You just figure it out.
Yeah, Trayvon Walker played interior at Georgia.
He did.
Put him as your, 3 technique, and I don't think you have a problem whatsoever on your hands.
Yeah. All right. I mean, that'd be a sick defensive line.
Yes.
That's some Madden. That's some Madden stuff that I would do. Just like drafting as many good defensive linemen and kind of figuring out where you're going to play them, where they can be most advantageous. Trayvon Walker's, it feels like a size, speed, strength mismatch no matter where you're playing him. So it's just very interesting. I think a lot of people are penciling in maybe a Jalen Carter for the Jacksonville Jaguars when they do mock drafts. But if he's gone, I was curious where you were going to go. You're right. You can't pass on Will Anderson there. Chicago Bears up now at number 6. Would love to go playmaker for them. But I don't think a wide receiver or a playmaker in this class on offense is worthy of number 6 overall. I'm going to stick in the trenches. Though the trenches have looked better recently, I'm going to go with Peter Skoronski, the offensive tackle from Northwestern. And the reason why I'm going with Skoronski is, one, he, I think, addressed a lot of concerns that I was going to have about him going into the season. I wondered if he was athletic enough to play on tackle, to have consecutive good seasons with him playing tackle. And he has, man. He just looks so steady. He looks so calm. He looks so poised. Everything, man. You see the pass blocking grade. That is an absolute elite grade. Okay, no, he's not a mauler in the run game. But the Bears have that already, right? The Bears are looking for a guy to really get in there and be a fantastic pass blocker for them. So I think people have talked about Skoronski as, does he have the length to be able to play at tackle? I think he'll be fine at tackle in the NFL. But if you wanted to play at guard a little bit, he could play that as well, depending on how you get your quote-unquote best 5 offensive linemen out there. And I think for the Chicago Bears specifically, getting Skoronski and letting him be their best pass blocker at one of those tackle spots, to me that makes the most sense. So for the Bears at number 6, I'll go Peter Skoronski as the first O-lineman off the board.
Yeah, can't hit on that pick whatsoever. There's going to be in a position, probably Chicago Bears, where either a wide receiver or an offensive tackle makes sense. Skoronski very much in that mold. It's number 7, Seattle Seahawks, obviously getting this via the Denver Broncos in what looks like one of the trades of the century for them. I got to go Keely Ringo here. I got to go the Georgia cornerback.
Okay, all right.
The way the board's shaken out, maybe I don't see him as this slam dunk top 10 cornerback prospect that I saw Stingley and Sauce and to some degree McDuffie a year ago. But man, in that defense, across from one Tariq Woolen, that's a scary thought. You have a 6'4", 205-pound corner in Tariq Woolen. You have a 6'2", 210 to 215. I don't know. Ringo may even be bigger than that. On tape, he looks like a linebacker outside for Georgia this year and what he's doing. That both run in the 4.2s. Keely Ringo can absolutely fly at that size. That's just a difficult cornerback group to go up against physically. I don't care who you are if they bring that guy in the fold. So, yeah, you're probably not getting him with your second pick. So if I'm the Seattle Seahawks, That's the guy I'm circling in red in this year's draft, Keely Ringo.
I don't know if I kind of like you were saying. Not sure if I think the Keely Ringo is like a top 10 overall guy, but for Seattle, I think the fit definitely makes a lot of sense. And Ringo at least has the athleticism, right? You're not over here questioning whether or not he can hang as a corner at the NFL level. I think the rest of the stuff, the confidence, and just the reliability is going to be there for him over the years. So I don't think that he's a slam dunk top 10 overall pick, but for Seattle, I do like the fit there. I can't hate on that. We've got the Detroit Lions up next at number 8. A lot of people love Jalen Carter going to them, but obviously Jalen Carter long gone in this mock. I am going to stick with interior defensive line, though, because I like that idea so much. I'm going to go with Bryan Bresee, the freak of a defensive tackle from Clemson. This dude's a former #1 overall recruit in the country for a reason. It's because his athleticism is off the charts. 6'5", 310 pounds, and this dude can explode from the 3-tech position. They've already got Aleem McNeil, who I like Aleem McNeil as a nose tackle, right? If you let him be a 0, a 1, some sort of nose, I think that's where his position is best. He can give you a little bit of plus movement because I think he's got some short area quickness to him there as well. But I like him as a nose. Let Bryan Bresee just be a 3-tech penetrating defensive tackle right there. I think that makes the most sense. Hopefully they get Levi Wuzurike back from that back injury that he's been that's kind of kept him off the field. They obviously have Aiden Hutchinson as well. They've got Josh Paschal, and all of a sudden that becomes a really nice young defensive line that I think in a couple of years could be one of the strongest in the NFL if all of those guys continue to progress. But they need Bresee in the middle. They need that interior penetration. I was watching the Wake Forest game actually earlier this morning when I was going over through some notes, and there's just one play where Bresee comes off the ball, just hits the nastiest swim move on the guard, and then the center is like, oh no, and tries his best to get in Bresee's way before he gets in the backfield and makes the tackle for loss. Just was unblockable, it felt like at times, and really, you haven't seen a ton of that. Clemson hasn't asked him to pin his ears back and be a pass rusher a ton over the last 2 years, but when they have, you see stuff like that. So even though they're losing out on Jalen Carter in this mock draft, they should be very happy getting a guy like Bryan Bresee if that can happen.
Yeah, he's coming off an ACL. You know, like most guys, year after ACL, they're not themselves. It takes a year and a half. You know, the next season is when you think they actually get back to what they are, and he's already playing at a high level for Clemson. So love that pick. Think Lions need to load up on D-line as much as possible. At number 9, Texans going Quentin Johnston, the wide receiver from TCU.
I was wondering how early we get a wide receiver off the board. Okay.
Their offensive line is bad, but their tackles are fine. And so I'm not going guard center this early on if I'm the Texans. And obviously part of the reason they're bad is because the guard they drafted last year, and Kenyon Green, is really not playing well, struggling for a rookie. So I'm going playmakers, weapons on the outside for my guy Bryce Young that I took at number 1 overall. So I'm going Quentin Johnston, 6'4", 215, explosive as hell, insane after the catch, 42 broken tackles on 100 career receptions, is just out of this world production with the ball in his hands. Maybe not your polished out the gate type of wide receiver, but can be at least a vertical threat and a screen threat year 1.
You think they're going to keep Brandon Cooks? You think Brandon Cooks will be there as well? Because all of a sudden, Brandon Cooks and Quentin Johnston, like, you're all right with that. That's pretty decent.
I think they're going to.
You know, you get Dameon Pierce behind you, you got Bryce Young, your quarterback. All of a sudden, like, that's a solid group.
Yeah, moving them at the deadline is always what made the most sense because they're going to have the quarterback next year. They're going to try to actually surround him with weapons. Next year, they're going to want a guy. So.
Okay, all right. Number 10 overall. Pittsburgh Steelers sitting at number 10. Like I said, I think they were picking number 4 overall last week, but because of that win, now they're picking all the way at number 10. They're still all right, though. I got them getting Paris Johnson Jr., the offensive tackle from Ohio State. I like Paris, man. I know that he was a high recruit, and a lot of people have had high hopes on him for a long time. They wanted to throw him in there and get him in the offensive line however they could, so he was playing guard last year. I think he's much more comfortable. I don't think he was bad at guard by any means, but I think that he's much more comfortable. He's much more at home now at that left tackle spot. When you look at the Steelers, their offensive tackles, those Steelers' offensive line, I think has played a little bit better lately. Chuck Okorafor and Dan Moore are their tackles. Those are the 2 lowest graded pass blockers that they have on the team. And so it's just got to get better for Kenny Pickett. And maybe you're in a situation a little bit like the Chicago Bears if they're picking Peter Skoronski where, hey, maybe they are okay at tackle. Maybe they do like their guys at tackle 4 next year. Well, you can still get Paris Johnson on the field because he has that experience at guard. So early on, maybe year 1, year 2, you can get him at guard while he kind of figures it out, ends up playing offensive tackle for them in the long term. But it just doesn't have to be next year. So I like the versatility there. I like what Paris Johnson Jr. brings to the table, and I love how he's playing at left tackle so far this season. So Steelers definitely need some O-line help. Johnson's got that versatility, and his long-term outlook could be a franchise position for them.
Yeah, and we've talked about this tackle class maybe not being a banner year. It's not going to have the 3 guys go top 10 like we saw a season ago or a few years ago, 3 years ago, back in that worst year. But we actually didn't go top 10. But I do think that he's the one in this class that ticks all the physical boxes. Skoronski, we're talking about his arm length, size, may not be that guy in that regard. Broderick Jones really hasn't had the production at Georgia, really hasn't had the pedigree, really hasn't had the reps at Georgia, and may not have the lateral quicks that a guy like Paris Johnson does. But Paris Johnson, when a guy has all those tools like that, there's no ceiling. You're not capped in what you could become. He could become an all-pro type of offensive tackle at the NFL level, and those guys go highly in the NFL draft.
They do indeed. All right, who's next for you? 11.
So next I'm going Detroit Lions. And as I said, I don't think you can get too much defensive line help with how poor this defensive line is. And I get they've loaded up on the position somewhat in recent years. Obviously drafting Aiden Hutchinson this past year, who's probably been their best defensive lineman, drafting Juliak War a few years ago, drafting the Kentucky defensive end in the second round, who I'm blanking on his name, Josh Paschal last year as well, and then the 2 defensive tackles the year prior. But I think you keep throwing resources at it. Best case scenario, you have a ton of young talent then that can get after the passer that you're not paying a lot of money to 2 positions that get paid a lot of money in free agency. That's a great way to start a team if you're not going to have the quarterback of the future in tow and could attract even a quarterback in free agency. So I'm going Miles Murphy, the Clemson defensive end.
Wow. So you're picking. So I picked Brzee at 8.
Yes.
And you're
keeping the Clemson defensive line together.
Okay. All right.
Murphy's very much this year's Trayvon Walker, I'll say, in that every box physically he's ticking. Now, is he an animal as a pass rusher at the collegiate level? No. You watch him against Joe Alt 2 weeks ago in the Notre Dame game, and damn near got shut out in that game. Joe Alt ate his lunch. And now Joe Alt's a fantastic prospect in his own right, but still, Miles Murphy, I keep calling him a DT on the graphics, he's a defensive end. But he is that level of explosiveness where it doesn't take too much in the way of technique, in the way of pass rushing moves, to then become a massive impact player at the next level. So if I'm the Lions walking away with Brzee and Miles Murphy from this draft, I think I hit a home run.
I feel like people might have been happier if I would have picked Miles Murphy at 8 and you would have picked Brzee at 11. Just because that's what people were saying. You got to go get Miles Murphy. You got to go get Miles Murphy if he's in the top 10. No quarterback, though, for Detroit in this mock draft. No quarterback here. But with those guys off the board, you're taking a chance on a quarterback no matter what. Like a Tanner McKee and Anthony Richardson. Those are probably the only guys that you would be taking a chance on at this point. But
there's too many. This is a better draft class, in my opinion, in the skill positions than we saw last year. There's too many good skill position guys near the top of the draft that if they're on the board and you're taking I don't want to say it's a Hail Mary after those top 3, but it's a clear drop off. You're overlooking a lot of things drafting a quarterback at number 8 or number 11 in this draft if it's not one of those top 3.
All right, we'll pick up the pace a little bit here. Atlanta Falcons at number 12. I got them taking Florida State pass rusher Jared Verse. They need a lot of help on the defense side of the football, and I think that pass rusher is where it all starts. I like Jared Verse a lot, man. I know that you look at his stats and they're not out of this world, but he has been hurt a little bit this season. And this is a guy who's also, you got to remember, playing his first year at the FBS level. He was an FCS guy at Albany before he moved over from Florida State. Yeah, man, he just, during that COVID season, I got to sit down and talk to him. He talked to me about the body transformation that he had during that COVID year because Albany did not have a football season during 2020. And so he just went straight to the home gym, man. Him and his dad bought a bunch of equipment for a home gym. He ended up gaining 40 pounds. So when he came back to play that next season for Albany, he was an absolute monster. He was one of the biggest prizes to have in the transfer portal, ends up going to Florida State, plays incredibly well in those first 2 games, including recording 8 pressures against LSU in that second game of the season. He's been dealing with an injury a little bit this year, but still very high in tackles for loss. He's got double-digit tackles for loss. I believe he still leads the team in sacks as well. So just the power, the speed, the violence that he plays with, the mentality that he has, I love it all. I don't know if he's going to go top 10, but I'd love him in the top 20. So the Falcons, they desperately need pass rush. I'm going to get him a pass rusher here in Jared Verse.
All right, I got 13, the Arizona Cardinals. Trying to get into the mind of Steve Keim. I didn't love having to do it, but it's something as a draft analyst, it's my cross to bear. And in the mind of Steve Keim, only one pick made sense. And it's Bijan Robinson.
Oh, no, Mike.
Steve Keim's looking at this roster, looking at this feudal offense and saying, what's the one thing we're missing? Running back.
Bijan Robinson.
To be fair, a backfield of Kyler Murray and Bijan Robinson does sound pretty electric. It's something that I would like to see with the run game making a resurgence in the NFL with the rise of two high safeties. The run game's gaining more importance, and when that's the case, the running back also gains some more importance. And if you need a running back in this class, you are not going to find a better one than Bijan Robinson. Obviously, would like to see him go to someplace with a little more creative offensive coordinator. It's going to feature him a little bit. That's a bevy of weapons there in Arizona if you do draft a Bijan Robinson in the first round, to where you can do a lot of different things. Defense have to account for a lot of different players in that offense now that, hey, O-line be damned. Give me the back.
I don't know if I can subscribe.
Okay, I'm out of the mind of Steve Keim. That was Steve Keim, channeling Steve Keim.
All right, I don't know if I can subscribe to O-line be damned, but Patrick said that you woke up choosing violence this morning with the Bijan pick. Look, again, the Madden kid into me. You got Bijan and Kyler in the same backfield. That would be fun. I don't think probably need to go
He's
O-line,
going to be
but
top 5 on everyone's draft boards, right? He's that kind of running back that he's going to be top 5 on the draft boards. Now, that doesn't mean he should go top 5, but he's that caliber of talent at the running back position that, Saquon Barkley was, that, back to Adrian Peterson. Like, he's in that tier-ish of the running back position to where someone's going to draft him highly still. He's going to go high.
Hold on, somebody said, Philip said this. Breece Hall changed PFF. Got a running back going in the first round. I absolutely love that. Okay, next. It's your Green Bay Packers at number 14. And I thought, what pick would torture you the most?
Yes.
And I came up with Michael Mayer, the tight end from Notre Dame. It just gives you a Notre Dame Packers connection. Okay, maybe this one's not torture. But I do look at this, and Jordan Addison was on the board, and I was thinking about Jordan Addison as well. I think Jordan Addison would be a great fit, have a lot of great production with Aaron Rodgers. But I do think that you can, for as much as this upcoming free agency class doesn't look super rich with adding wide receivers, I do think that you can get wide receivers quite often. Michael Mayer is a true all-around tight end. For as much as, I'm not saying he's like a Kyle Pitts type, a Travis Kelce type, a George Kittle type. I don't think that he's that good of a tight end. I don't think he's that good of an athlete to be up there with those guys. This is an extremely solid player. Like next year, if you put Michael Mayer in Green Bay, he's averaging what? Averaging 7 catches a game, double-digit targets. Aaron Rodgers immediately goes to this guy any and always. Any situation, always, no matter when the game is going on. So that's what I think of with Michael Mayer. A little bit early for me because I don't think he's going to be the best tester. I don't think he's the greatest athlete, but he's so reliable and he understands the position so well, and he's just an all-around player.
That's the thing. He's not going to excite you physically. He's not going to blaze a 40. But he can beat man coverage. They do not have a lot of guys, is their biggest thing we just talked about on yesterday's show. They don't have a lot of guys that when you go press man across the board, Aaron Rodgers okay, I like that matchup. And is going to be confident that guy's going to win and throw with anticipation on the break because he knows that he's going to be there. Michael Mayer is that guy at tight end. That's why he's the focal point of Notre Dame's offense, because on those option routes over the middle of the field, he's a nightmare. He has that innate shake to him and that physicality to give that little shove and create that inch separation, and then really good ball skills to where I think can be worth this pick for the Green Bay Packers. Don't love the idea of tight ends that high, but he's about as good as it gets in that regard. The worry I have, though, is that they're going to someone like Darnell Washington to replace Mercedes Lewis in that offense.
Oh.
I'd be a little scared of that. That's not, he's a little different. He's not that kind of tight end that Michael Mayer is. He's more of a speed size blocker. But
all right, who you got next?
We'll see. All right.
15 Colts.
15 Colts. I said I got to take a swing at QB. Tanner McKee is the QB I'm taking a swing on at this point in the draft. The Stanford quarterback.
Kind of.
Again,
yeah.
He's extremely accurate. He throws with great time. He plays within the offense. You worry a little bit about his pocket presence. Not the greatest athlete. You worry about his escapability, but Colts have to take a swing. You got to take a chance, and he's a guy that you take a chance on because from day one in the NFL, he's going to have more guys open than he did at Stanford. He just is. What he's working with at Stanford right now is a very suboptimal situation. And at 15 in the draft, there's no more slam dunks left. There's no more guy that I'm confident is going to come in and make an impact on my team. So I'll take that swing at QB then.
It's Anthony Richardson slander, and I won't stand for it. I'm just letting you know. I'm not gonna stand for it. Commanders up at number 16. I'm gonna go corner. Now this is a. I need to explain this pick a little bit. I'm going Joey Porter Jr., who the cornerback from Penn State, who I think is a really good player. But he is a man coverage corner. Like, if they're keeping Jack Del Rio as their defense coordinator, they're probably not making this pick. Maybe they're going with a Cam Smith or something like that from South Carolina. Maybe a Clark Phillips, who I also think could be a really good pick for them in a fit there. Maybe not this high, but that's probably a player that they would go to instead of Joey Porter, because Joey Porter is a man coverage corner. He is a press man coverage kind of a player. And they just cut William Jackson because he was a press man player. So I just wanted to make sure that I threw that out there. If they're keeping the same defense going into next year, they're probably not going to make a pick like Joey Porter Jr. But if they're changing things, then I would like this fit here. I would like this because I do think he's a really good prospect. I think he gives you that CB1 ceiling. He's got the body type. He's got the forced incompletions. He's got the family name. He's got the pedigree. He's got the NFL background, right? Like, I don't know. All of this goes into why I think that he's a really good prospect. But there is a little bit of a caveat there. If they're keeping the same defense, they're probably not going to draft them.
Why wouldn't they keep the same defense? Ron Rivera's going to be on the show in a couple of days. Why wouldn't they keep the same defense? I'm not
saying they're going to fire Ron Rivera. I never said that. I said Jack Del Rio. So maybe you got to get rid of Jack Del Rio. I don't know. If it's a different defense, don't say.
All right, number 17, Los Angeles Chargers. I am going Jordan Addison, USC wide receiver. Some speed. Some separation ability. Chicken or the egg here? Is it the lack of speed wide receivers that they don't go deep? That Justin Herbert has the third lowest average depth target in the NFL? Is it the offensive coordinator? Or is it Justin Herbert himself? I don't know, but we'll find out if Jordan Addison's there because he at least brings that to the table. Unfortunately got hurt in the Utah game earlier this year, I believe, but still was having a big season prior to that, and obviously was the reigning Blitnikoff Award winner. So yeah, I'm a fan of Jordan Addison's game. If he's your best all-around sort of separator in this draft class, for my money.
Wanted to correct myself. The chat corrected this. Not an expert was like, oh, William Jackson got cut. He didn't end up getting cut. I forgot that they traded him. They traded him. Sorry. The report was out that he was going to get cut. And then the Steelers came in and actually gave a draft pick for him. So there we go. All right, Jordan Addison to the Chargers, though. I love it. I do love that selection there. Bengals, hometown Bengals. Hope Quinn's listening. Number 18 overall. I'm going to go Olaf Chano, the offensive tackle from Penn State. The young 19-year-old, I believe, at the time. Maybe he's 20. I don't actually know his birthday, but I know he's super young. And if he comes out in the draft, he's going to be one of the youngest players in this draft. Plays left tackle for Penn State. Dude moves like an absolute athlete at this position. Yes. Now, the strength profile of his game needs work. Not great when run blocking. We don't have him with a high run blocking grade, and there are times when he's trying to get locked up with guys, he'll get the hands in the right spot, it looks like he's got him totally locked up, and then they'll hit him with some sort of push-pull, or they'll be able to rip him to the side, whatever it is. I think that happens too many times with him, so I would like to get him to see a little bit stronger in his game in all facets. However, the movement skills of this dude, that's what you draft and develop. Jonah Williams has not been good for the Cincinnati Bengals this year. It might be time to be like, all right, probably got to get somebody else in there. Lyle Collins obviously has not been great in pass blocking either. So, like the idea of them taking a chance on a young developmental offensive lineman with a high ceiling.
I will say, though, I think he has a good anchor. Like, he can anchor
I like how the body
lower
is
body
built.
strength.
Yeah.
Upper body strength, like he can't manipulate guys with his hands and that.
Which he definitely needs to get a little bit better at. What were you saying, Quinn?
You know who else has play strength concerns?
Jonah
Williams. He gets bullied a lot.
Yeah. Length concerns too.
Yeah.
Hate to see. He's guard. He's going to be a guard next year.
I take it all back. All right, who you got at 19?
19, I'm going Tyree Wilson, Texas Tech edge, to add to that Bucs defensive line. Can maybe play a little interior. Can maybe be your William Golston in that defense.
He's got to be better than Golston.
Golston had a year in there somewhere.
Look, Golston's pretty solid. You need better.
But Tyree Wilson is just a size freak at 6'6", 275, 85-inch wingspan. Really starting to figure it out, and he craves. He reminds me a lot of Peyton Turner's tape, where he craves the physicality aspect of the position. He's not the guy who's going to play patty cake and just try to long arm you with those insane arms. He's coming in, he's ducking his head, and he's true bull rushing you. Tyree Wilson, 50 pressures already on the season. I'm a fan. I think he probably goes higher than this in the real draft.
Yeah. I think this is kind of where we start to have the Tyree Wilson conversation for me, and I do think that he would be a good fit with Tampa. I know they just drafted Logan Hall last year as well, but Shaq Barrett getting hurt this year, season-ending injury, that's not ideal. I like how Joe Tryon-Shoyinka is coming along as a speed edge rusher on the outside, but they definitely need another really big presence along the defensive line. So I think that adding edge, even if Shaq Barrett comes back, getting him into that rotation, Tyree Wilson, you mentioned it. You bet on the uniqueness of his build. You bet on that kind of stuff, and he is a guy who. When I watch his tape, although I don't think he is close to what he needs to be as a pass rusher yet to be successful at the pro level, he doesn't shy away from contact. You're right. He likes getting into guys. He likes being physical with them. And I think when he's a little bit more precise, calculated in what he's doing, you could start to see a really good pass rush profile from him. So number 20, the last pick that we will do here today in the top 20 mock draft, it's the Denver Broncos. I'm going to have them going linebacker Trenton Simpson. And when I look at their linebacker room, I look at Josie Jewell, who is a good linebacker, but not the greatest of athletes. Alex Singleton sitting there on a one-year deal. You get a guy like Trenton Simpson in there who has a lot of athleticism, right? This is a guy who played a lot of slot corner snaps last year as well as linebacker. This year he's a lot more just in the box full time. He brings that good athleticism to the position, somebody who gives you a high ceiling when he's in coverage. I will say this, though, just before we move on. When I was watching Trenton Simpson, I was sitting here like, who is 54 next to him? I'm like, who is this linebacker next to Trent? Because Trenton Simpson's a good athlete. Like, Trenton Simpson will stand out as an athlete. And the guy next to him was moving even better than Trenton Simpson was, more confident, more physical. And I'm like, who is this? It's Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who is a true sophomore, so he's not draft eligible, but obviously Jeremiah Trotter Sr.'s son. He was a former 5-star, was the number 7 overall player 2 years ago in recruiting, and he's going to be draft eligible next year. And I already am going to love going over his tape because he just stood out to me watching him next to Trenton Simpson. He was fantastic. So anyways, Denver Broncos getting Trenton Simpson there. I didn't really love any of the other picks of the guys that were on the board, so I went with a guy who I trust the talent in Trenton Simpson when he can be in the middle.
Yeah, he's still a freak. He does not look like 240, but he is. He's just so well put together for a linebacker.
Well, hopefully Lions fans said Simpsons will be gone because he will be going number 13 to the Cardinals.
Very true.
Here we go. All right, well, we'll recap the top 20 here. Texans took Bryce Young. Raiders took C.J. Stroud. Panthers, Will Levis. Eagles took Jalen Carter. Jags got Will Anderson. Bears, Peter Skoronski. Seahawks, Keely Ringo. Lions, Brian Brzee at number 8. Texans, Quentin Johnston. Steelers at number 10 got Paris Johnson Jr. Lions at 11 got Miles Murphy, double dipping on the defensive line. Falcons got Jared Verse. Cardinals, Bijan Robinson. Packers, Michael Mayer. Colts, Tanner McKee. Commanders, Joey Porter Jr. Chargers, Jordan Addison. Bengals, Olu Fashanu. Bucks, Tyree Wilson. And then the Broncos with Trenton Simpson. Tell us what your favorite picks were. Tell us what your least favorite picks were. We'll be sure to only read the nice words that you guys have to say and not the critique ones because that's, we're just fragile.
We're soft.
We're very...
We're soft.
You said it, not me. All right, let's end this with a little bit of fun here. Let's get to the what's on screen game. You want to go first? You want to head over there?
Yeah,
first?
I'll go over there.
Okay. All right. So if you guys are new here, or if you didn't see us play this game before, essentially what goes on. Yeah, don't walk in front of the camera.
Didn't know exactly where to go.
Essentially what goes on is Mike's going to walk over to the green screen, and there's going to be 10 things behind him. We're going to go in succession one after the other. It's either going to be a player, a coach, a team, something, and I have to describe that to him using non-proper nouns. And basically, whoever runs through the 10 the quickest wins. We're going to have 2 rounds, so it's actually going to be 20 between us. The last one, the 10th one, I'm only allowed to say one word, and again, it cannot be a proper noun. So y'all are in this as well. Obviously, y'all can play this at the same time. So what's on screen? Quinn, are we ready to go? Did I explain that correctly?
Yeah, the only 2 things to add, if you skip, you can skip if you want to, but you shouldn't because it'll add 15 seconds to your time. So just take a stab anyway. Last guess of each round, you can only use 2 words as a clue. Remember we did that?
Yes.
So on the 10th one, I'll call it out. You only use 2 words.
2 words.
Okay. Cool.
And then if you use we said we're going to police the proper nouns and stuff like that better. If whoever's given the clue gives out a proper noun, you get penalized, right?
Okay, I get penalized if I use a proper noun.
Right.
Cool. Okay.
Right. Otherwise, you could just sabotage Mike.
Which
you could yell Green Bay, Packers, Aaron Rodgers.
No, we already went over it at the beginning of the show. If we pause long enough, then it's not technically
Yeah, you
a
just said
proper noun.
3.
It's just a color.
Unique words.
It's just a location. It's just an explanation. All right, let's do it. Let's get into it.
All right, let's go.
That's me. That's me. All right. Okay. Running back. Wears a single-digit number. Wears number 4. Had an 81-yard run.
Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
Switch his fucking number. I forgot.
Really, a quarterback who is really good at running the football.
Jalen Hurts. Justin Fields.
There it is. Yep. Okay, this slot receiver for the Denver
Amon-Ra
Broncos.
St. Brown.
No.
KJ Hamler.
Denver Broncos plus 5.
Oh, shoot,
Jerry
Denver
Jeudy.
Broncos.
Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Almost didn't go to the game this weekend because he didn't have a passport.
Leonard Fournette.
Yep. We're interviewing him tomorrow for the show.
Ron Rivera.
There it is. Nice. Oh, okay. This player is short. Wears number 4. Plays out in the
Rondé
West. Oh, nice. Yeah, nice. Okay. We saw this player on the sideline of a football game we went to last
Sauce Gardner?
week. Nope.
Desmond Ritter.
Yes. Yeah. I highlighted this player as a dog of the week. He's a vet.
Justin Jefferson?
Nope. Been around the league a long time. Same team though. Same team.
Kirk Cousins.
Nope. Single-digit number. Other side of the ball.
Pat Pearson.
Yep. There it is. Okay. This is a backup running back, but he could be starting elsewhere. It's a team of a city in the state of Ohio. No.
No, proper noun,
Kareem Hunt.
plus
Kareem
5.
Hunt.
Oh, shoot. Probably Ohio. Shoot. Damn. Okay. All right. Yeah, it is Kareem Hunt.
2 words.
2 words.
All right. Diners, drive-ins.
Guy Fieri.
Yeah, there it is.
Good clue. That was lights out.
138 was the final
138.
Oh,
All right.
man. Okay. All right.
We're here.
All right.
time. Trev, unfortunately, you're starting at 10 seconds.
I was starting at 10 seconds. Yeah, I know.
Warm it up.
All right.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Born ready.
All right, let's do it.
Center, wears green. He's short. His brother, they have a podcast.
Jason Kelce.
Yep. Everyone wants him. He's a wide receiver. He's a free agent that everyone's courting.
Odell Beckham Jr.
Yep. Coach for a team south of where you grew up.
Mike McDaniel.
Yep. Rookie wide receiver, leads them all in receiving yards.
Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Olave.
It was Olave.
He's from here. He's cornerback. He was
Sauce Gardner?
punched a woman, punched multiple women. He's
I
5'9". He was from West. Ooh, nope, almost said. He retired. He's
Adam Pac-Man Jones?
there. You go.
Okay. All right.
His name sounds like something you put in your car stereo. He's a wide receiver.
Something you put in your car? CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Number 1 overall pick 2021. Quarterback.
Why am I blanking on this? Trevor Lawrence.
There you go.
Okay. Whew.
Oh. Country Roads.
West Virginia. Garth Brooks. John Denver.
There you go.
Okay. I don't know why I said Garth Brooks. It's not a Garth Brooks song. So was that it? That's it? This is 2?
Oh, wait. There's one more.
2 more.
Oh, it's 2 more.
two
And I didn't
more?
have to use 2 words for that one. I thought I could use.
Oh, God. Okay.
Newsbreaker, works for
Adam Schefter.
Worldwide Leader Sports. Yeah.
Okay. Is it 2 words?
2 words, yeah.
Like that.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That sucked.
There we go.
That sucked.
157.
God, that was terrible. It was
Well, you were
terrible.
close, but your plus 10 seconds is.
Oh yeah.
I know.
crucial.
Killed me. Mike didn't.
I thought the John Denver one was 2 words. I was like, I guess I don't know how else I'd even describe it.
That was bad. That was bad, chat. That was bad, chat.
You could have said you thought the Rocky Mountains looked a
little
little
bit
rockier
rockier.
than
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
All
This
right.
guy's full of shit.
All right. This guy's.
You guys ready?
How did you? Was it a picture of John Denver?
Yeah.
You just know what John Denver looks like?
Well, it said John Denver.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if you put John Denver on the screen, I'd have no idea what
No,
John
yeah.
Denver looked like. All right. All right. Wow, Philip saying Trevor Sikkema strikes again. Get out of here, Philip. I won this the last time we played it. I won this the last 2 times we played it. All right, let's do it. Let's go.
All right, let's hit it.
Likes to do up downs with his team during.
Dan Campbell.
Yep. Oh man, played quarterback for Team Out West. It was a backup quarterback bowl this past week.
Oh, John Wolford?
No, other one.
Colton
Yeah,
McCoy.
there it is. Sexy Dexy.
Dex Lawrence.
There it is. That counts. You can't penalize me for that. It was in the Heisman conversation. Throws for a ton of yards. One of the best offenses in college
C.J.
football.
Stroud?
Nope, keep going. SEC.
Hendon Hooker?
Yeah.
There you
A lot of people are calling this the greatest catch of all time.
go. Justin Jefferson.
Okay, yeah, I think it's Justin Jefferson, unless, okay, yeah.
It is.
All right, this was the alcoholic beverage of choice for Taylor Heineke.
Busch Light.
Proper 9 plus 5. I saw you walking right
How
into
was
that,
I
so
going to
wanted to
explain
stop
that
you.
other than like saying Taylor
Official beer of
Heineke?
Iowa.
This is bullshit. All right, keep going. This is the new RB1 for the team that I root for.
Rashad White.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, I wanted to say it proper now. It's so bad there. This is somebody's new tattoo that he got from over the summer. You know him very well.
Kadarius Toney.
No. He plays quarterback. You know him very well.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go. It's just a tattoo. This player was traded at the deadline. It was an interdivisional trade.
T.J. Hawkinson.
Yes. Yep.
2 words.
Damn. New coach. Just you gotta go off that. New coach.
Jeff Saturday.
Yes. I wanted to say Jim Irsay so bad
That's proper.
because you would have got that immediately, but it would have been a proper noun. All right. Okay.
150 on that.
Okay. All right.
Mike has opened up a commanding lead.
That might have been. All right. Not great. All right.
time to
Starting
get
off with a
clues.
5-second penalty. All right. We're gonna have to have the greatest round of our life, chat.
Yep,
Greatest
last
of our
round,
life.
gotta make it count.
Here we
You
go.
guys ready?
Here we go. Let's do
hit
it.
Knocked out receiver for this week. Safety. Had
Andre Cisco?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other quarterback in the backup quarterback bowl.
John Mofford.
Yep. Coach for the purple team.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yep.
I can hear them laughing.
You just drafted him over Will Anderson. Oh gosh, it's proper.
Proper noun
Jalen
plus
Carter.
5.
Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter. Added to his
Yep.
stats, baby. Added to his stats. Keep
The
going.
GOAT QB.
Tom Brady.
Yep. Scoot a little to the left, right, or right. Which one? I believe that's cornerback. He had a pick 6 against the team I root for. He's graded really well. He's
Rooted for it?
No, he plays for a team that's won the most Super Bowls up in the Northeast. Gosh,
I have no idea.
was a 4th rounder.
Jack
old.
Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Red hair owner.
Andy Dalton.
No, he's the owner of a football team. His dad died.
Mark
Love
Davis.
Speed. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right.
Is the GM of the team that was just undefeated.
Howie Roseman.
Yep.
No way.
This team just traded for a linebacker. He's the other one.
The team traded for a linebacker, and he's the other one?
Yeah.
Give me something else.
First rounder. He's a first rounder. Plays for. He played college football, won a national championship a few years ago. Plays. Gosh, I'm trying to think of what else. He's
Plays out of control.
He's not great. He's first rounder in 2020.
Tweets a lot.
Drafted at the end of the first round, linebacker.
I have no idea. Who is this? Tell me. Skip.
It's Patrick Queen.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Okay. All right.
2 words, last one.
Red Rocket. Red Rifle. Excuse me. did the same thing.
Andy Dalton. Oh, man.
230. I don't know how
I
many
think-
times you have to go over this, though. It's the red rifle.
I know.
Red rifle.
Trev
Well,
got me with the Red Rocket the
I
other
got
day.
it with Red Rocket anyways because that was what I would have gotten. Good Lord, man, that was That was bad. That was bad. That was bad on me. Wasn't on my game. Was not on my game.
The Patrick Queen one, I kind of should have kept going.
Come on,
try to get Baltimore.
Single-digit number. Team wears
I couldn't
purple.
see his number.
He wears 6.
I thought he was 18 at LSU. That's all I remember.
Team won the national championship. All right. Anyways, okay. Let's get to our lock of the week. That was a bad showing by me. And you know what? Look, I gotta be better. I gotta be better. That's all there is to it. I gotta be better. Mike, congrats on the win. It was bullshit. I'm not accepting it. I'm not conceding the victory. But I just got to be better. What's our lock of the week? Actually, our lock of the week is exactly the same, so I don't even have to ask you about it.
It is the same.
Go ahead.
I went through, and I was looking at all the lines, over-unders, whatnot, and I'm like, Raiders-Broncos going under 41.5. Let's put it in the sheet. Go to the sheet. You have Raiders-Broncos under 41.5. It's that good, folks. It's that much of a lock.
We've never unified on a lock of the week.
Not.
We have not unified on a lock of the week yet this year, and here we are. Under 41.5 points for the Raiders and Broncos game. Both of us are basically saying this game's unwatchable. If you are not a fan of the Raiders or the Broncos, do not actively watch this game.
Yeah.
Seek help. Go outside. Take a nice 3-hour walk instead. Turn on Red Zone. I don't care what it is. Make a snack for 3 hours. Just literally anything other than this game. I don't know.
So to go over this, just to put some context, the Broncos have scored more than 21 points. So someone's going to have to go over 21 points. Or I guess both teams could go 21 points and they tie to get over. But someone's going to have to go over 21 points. Broncos have gone over 21 points once this season. Yes, it was the last time they played the Raiders. But they've gone over 21 points once this season. They've allowed over 21 points once this season. And yes, it was the last time they played the Raiders. But are we banking on every other game or the one small sample size that they played last time? I'm going to bank on every other game.
Yeah, we're gonna bank on every other game. What was the answer to the chat, the question of the day before we get to chat champ? Get out of here.
So the Patriots won 11 straight. Bills have won the last 2. So they got to win 10 straight in order to
so they got to win
break the record.
So I was right.
But it starts this weekend
Absolutely
in Snowstorm.
Oh, to break the record.
Yeah,
To break the record, yeah.
See,
just
I had-
surpass it. So yeah, you were close.
I had the math correct.
Trev, you said 10, didn't you?
I did say 10. You know what? Ending the show on a win, baby. Ending the show on a win. Love to see that. Who's our chat champ before we get out of here?
Nick Rader. Shout out Nick Rader. Ratter. I don't know how you say that. But shout out Nick. Good job.
Shout out Nick. Chat champ of the day. Big day to be a chat champ. Also, really important day to be a chat champ because tomorrow I'm going to try to be a lot better than I was today in trivia. We need to get a dub in trivia. Need to get a dub in trivia. It is Trivia Thursday tomorrow. It's going to be a jam-packed show. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the mock draft. Again, let us know. Picks that you love, picks that you hated. We would love to hear it. That's what makes mock drafts so much fun. It's not an accuracy exercise at this point of the year. It's really just a, hey, what if? What if this guy goes to this location? What if the board looks like this? Here's what we think would do. So I would love to hear from you guys as well. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That is Mike Renner. For everybody in the production portal, thank you guys so much for watching Issues Football. We will see you right here for trivia tomorrow, 11 a.m. See you guys then.
It's not about politics, it's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. You're just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
I just get it and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.